History whispers a tale of empires. They rise majestic and powerful, leaving their mark on the world. Yet time, the relentless sculptor, eventually chips away at their grandeur. Like fallen stars, these empires fade, leaving behind echoes of their former glory. What forces orchestrate this captivating yet melancholic dance of rise and fall? Throughout the annals of human civilization, countless empires have graced the world stage, each in its own right, a testament to human ambition, ingenuity, and, at times, ruthlessness. Yet, for all their might, they all eventually succumbed to the same fate: decline and eventual collapse. This begs the question, is there an inherent flaw in the very fabric of empires, a preordained trajectory towards their inevitable demise? Or are there external forces at play, unforeseen circumstances that conspire to bring about their downfall? The answers, as with most historical inquiries, are complex and multifaceted, a tapestry woven from threads of internal strife, external pressures, and the unpredictable hand of fate. In this exploration of history's grand stage, we will delve into the captivating stories of three empires that once ruled vast swathes of our world: Rome, the Aztecs, and the Mongols. Don't miss out on more fascinating historical insights. Subscribe to Enchant Minds and join us on this journey through time. Imagine the bustling streets of ancient Rome. The year is 100 AD. The Roman Empire stretches from Britannia to North Africa. The air thrums with energy. Trade flourishes, legions maintain peace, and structures rise. Yet, cracks are beginning to appear. Fast forward to the 15th century, the Aztec Empire holds sway in the Valley of Mexico. Tenochtitlan stands as a marvel of engineering. Whispers of discontent and rumors of strange men circulate. Journey to the steppes of Central Asia in the 13th century. Under Genghis Khan, the Mongols forge a vast empire. From Hungary to China, the Mongol Empire seems unstoppable. Yet, divisions are sown even as they expand. These three empires, distinct in their cultures, geographical locations, and historical contexts, might appear to have little in common. However, beneath the surface of their disparities lies a shared narrative, a story of ambition, achievement, and ultimately, decline. Rome, the epitome of a classical empire, with its intricate legal system, sophisticated infrastructure, and military might, succumbed to a combination of internal decay and external pressures. The Aztecs, masters of adaptation and ruthless expansion, fell victim to a potent combination of internal dissent and the arrival of European conquistadors, their technological advantage proving insurmountable. The Mongols, architects of the largest contiguous land empire in history, were ultimately undone by the challenges of governing such a vast and diverse territory, coupled with internal power struggles that eroded their unity. The stories of these empires, while separated by time and geography, are interwoven by common threads: the challenges of maintaining unity, the perils of overexpansion, and the constant pressure from both within and without. By studying their falls, we gain a deeper understanding not only of their respective histories, but also of the cyclical nature of power itself. The Roman Empire, at its zenith, was a marvel of economic complexity, a vast network of trade routes crisscrossing continents. Yet, beneath this vibrant facade, a silent threat was brewing: an economic storm. Inflation began to plague the empire. Emperors debased the currency, leading to soaring prices and hardship. Trade declined, isolating the empire. Tax revenue dwindled, causing a financial crisis. The mighty Roman war machine began to show signs of strain. Political instability. Rome's political landscape, once a model of stability, mirrored the turmoil brewing in its economy. The system that allowed Rome to rise began to unravel under its own contradictions. The citizen-soldier concept eroded as the empire relied on mercenaries. These soldiers, motivated by personal gain, were susceptible to bribes. The emperor's office became a poisoned chalice, subject to ambitious generals. Assassinations and civil wars destabilized the empire. The Senate, once a symbol of republican ideals, was increasingly marginalized. Emperors bypassed the Senate, ruling by decree. Corruption became endemic, with bribery and extortion commonplace. Caesar no more, the unraveling of authority. The Roman Empire, built on a foundation of law, order, and the projection of power, found its authority waning as the 3rd century AD dawned. The once unified realm, stretching from the Atlantic Ocean to the Euphrates River, faced a series of internal and external crises that threatened to tear it apart. The emperors, once revered as living gods and symbols of stability, now faced a whirlwind of challenges to their rule. A rapid succession of emperors, many of whom met untimely ends through assassination or battlefield defeats, led to a lack of continuity and decisive leadership. The empire, weakened by internal strife and economic woes, became increasingly vulnerable to external threats. The legions, once the invincible force that had secured Rome's dominance, found themselves stretched thin, tasked with defending a vast frontier against increasingly bold enemies. The crisis of the 3rd century, as this tumultuous period is known, saw the empire fracture along regional lines. Breakaway empires emerged, each vying for control and legitimacy. The Gallic Empire, centered in Gaul and Britannia, and the Palmyrene Empire, encompassing Egypt and the Levant, challenged Rome's authority, further draining its resources and manpower. This period of fragmentation and near collapse highlighted the fragility of empires, even those as seemingly invincible as Rome. The centrifugal forces of regionalism, ambition, and external pressure threatened to unravel centuries of Roman hegemony. Beyond the frontiers, the Barbarian Tide. Beyond the fortified boundaries of Rome lay diverse peoples, often called barbarians. These groups interacted with Rome through trade, diplomacy, and conflict. As Rome's stability waned, this relationship shifted. Sporadic raids became concerted pressure as tribes sought new lands. Climate change forced migrations, pushing groups into Roman lands. The Huns displaced tribes, creating a chain reaction affecting Rome. Romans, once dominant, found themselves on the defensive. Cracks in the facade. A city divided. Rome, the heart of a vast empire, faced turmoil. Economic woes, political instability, and barbarian pressure affected daily life. Social hierarchies blurred as hardship took hold. Inflation and unemployment rose. Rome's grandeur masked growing discontent. The gap between rich and poor widened. Social unrest became frequent. Rome, once a symbol of unity, now reflected division. Whispers among the Mexica. The heart of the Aztec Empire beat with a rhythm as old as time itself. In Tenochtitlan, canals glittered, reflecting the grandeur of temples. The Mexica presided over a society as complex as their codices. Yet, a subtle disquiet tugged at the edges of Aztec confidence. The burden of tribute, resentment in the provinces, the Aztec Empire, a tapestry woven from countless threads of conquered cultures. The burden of tribute enriched the Aztec elite but weighed heavily on the periphery. For the Totonacs, tribute demands felt like a strangling vine. Resentment occasionally erupted into open rebellion. Aztec armies often quelled these uprisings with brutal efficiency. The arrival of tribute in Tenochtitlan showcased the empire's wealth and power. Omens in the sky. A prophecy foretold? The year 1517, Ciacatl in the Aztec calendar, dawned like any other, the sun rising over Tenochtitlan. Yet, for those who read the signs, a sense of foreboding hung in the air. A series of unsettling omens had troubled the priests and unsettled the populace. A comet, trailing a fiery tail across the night sky, was interpreted by some as a harbinger of change. An unexplained fire in the temple of Huitzilopochtli, the god of war, was seen as a sign of divine displeasure. Most troubling of all were the whispers of a prophecy, passed down through generations of seers, that spoke of the return of Quetzalcoatl, the feathered serpent. Quetzalcoatl, associated with knowledge and transformation, was anticipated with a mixture of hope and trepidation. These omens, amplified by societal anxieties, created a climate of uncertainty. Rumors swirled through marketplaces, whispered in hushed tones within temples. Had the gods grown weary of the Mexica? Was their reign of dominance coming to an end? The arrival of the feathered serpent. Cortés. Lands in Mexico, In the spring of 1519, a fleet of 11 ships appeared on the horizon off the coast of what is now Veracruz. These vessels carried men with pale skin, clad in metal armor, their weapons capable of unleashing thunder and lightning. Leading this expedition was Hernán Cortés, a Spanish conquistador driven by ambition and greed. News of the strangers' arrival reached the Aztec emperor, Moctezuma II, in Tenochtitlan. Moctezuma, a ruler known for his intellect and piety, found himself caught between curiosity and apprehension. Were these strangers gods, as some whispered, or were they harbingers of chaos? Torn between caution and a desire to understand, Moctezuma opted for diplomacy, sending emissaries laden with gifts. The Aztecs sought to assess the intentions of these strangers. Cortés recognized the opportunity presented by the Aztecs' uncertainty. He aimed to claim these lands for Spain and convert their inhabitants to Christianity. The Clash of Worlds. Technology and disease reshape a continent. The encounter between the Spanish conquistadors and the Aztecs was a collision of worlds. The Spanish possessed a technological advantage that would prove decisive. Their steel swords, crossbows, and cannons inspired both awe and terror. However, the most potent weapon unleashed by the Spanish was invisible to the naked eye. Diseases carried across the Atlantic swept through the Americas, decimating indigenous populations. Smallpox, measles, and influenza proved catastrophic, weakening resistance to Spanish conquest. Cortés exploited the situation ruthlessly. He forged alliances with tribes who resented Aztec rule. The stage was set for a confrontation that would reshape the destiny of empires. The Aztecs fought with tenacity and courage. However, weakened by disease and internal divisions, their resistance ultimately crumbled. Across the Eurasian steppe, the name Genghis Khan echoed with a mixture of awe and terror. The year is 1227, and the Mongol Empire stands as the largest contiguous land empire in history. Genghis Khan, the brilliant military strategist and ruthless unifier, lay dying. Born Temujin, Genghis Khan had risen from humble beginnings, uniting fractious Mongol tribes. He replaced age-old rivalries with a shared identity and a thirst for conquest. His armies, renowned for their horsemanship and archery skills, had swept across Asia. Genghis Khan's legacy extended beyond military might. He was a shrewd administrator, implementing a legal code, the Yasa. He promoted trade, established a postal relay system, and embraced religious tolerance. Yet, even as Genghis Khan lay on his deathbed, the empire faced an uncertain future. The nature of Mongol rule, dependent on a single leader, contained the seeds of its own potential unraveling. The empire he had so meticulously crafted faced an uncertain future. The Mongol Empire, a tapestry woven from conquered cultures, stretched across continents. This diversity, while contributing to the empire's richness, also presented a fundamental challenge. The Mongols, traditionally a nomadic people, found themselves ruling over settled populations. The Persian scholars, the Chinese artisans, the Russian farmers, all chafed under Mongol rule. The Mongol system of governance, reliant on a network of princes and generals, had proven effective during Genghis Khan's lifetime. His personality had kept ambitious rivals in check. However, with his passing, the centrifugal forces of ambition and cultural friction threatened to pull the empire apart. The seeds of discontent found fertile ground in the grievances of the conquered. Taxation, often levied heavily, bred resentment. Religious differences added fuel to the fire. The sheer size of the Mongol Empire presented logistical challenges. From the icy steppes of Russia to the sweltering jungles of Southeast Asia, the empire encompassed a dizzying array of climates and cultures. Communication proved particularly difficult. While the Mongols had established an efficient postal relay system, traversing the vast distances could take months. This made it challenging to maintain control over distant provinces. The Mongol army faced its own set of challenges. The logistics of supplying a vast army were daunting. The Mongols, traditionally reliant on their herds of horses, found themselves increasingly dependent on local resources. The nature of the Mongol army began to change as the empire expanded. The core of the army was augmented by soldiers from conquered territories. This integration of foreign troops introduced potential points of weakness. The empire divided, succession struggles and fragmentation. Genghis Khan sought to prevent conflicts by dividing his empire among his sons. This system, while intended to ensure stability, ultimately contributed to the empire's fragmentation. The Mongol Empire evolved into a collection of khanates, each vying for power and influence. The Yuan dynasty, established by Kublai Khan in China, presided over a period of economic prosperity and cultural exchange. However, the Yuan dynasty faced internal challenges, including resistance from native Chinese. In Central Asia, the Chagatai Khanate struggled to maintain its unity. The Golden Horde exerted its dominance over Rus's principalities. These successor states increasingly pursued their own interests. The unity that Genghis Khan had forged began to unravel. The receding tide. Retreat from the Gates of Vienna. The year 1241 marked the high watermark of the Mongol westward expansion. The Mongol armies, led by Batu Khan, had swept across Eastern Europe. The Mongol Empire stood poised to conquer all of Europe. However, fate intervened. The death of Ogadai Khan triggered a succession crisis. The Mongols retreated to participate in the Kurultai to determine the next great Khan. Europe, spared from further Mongol conquest, would never again face such a formidable threat. The Mongol retreat exposed the limitations of their empire. The Mongols faced challenges in adapting to different terrains and fighting styles. Their logistical networks proved vulnerable. The Mongols often faced fierce resistance from European powers. The Mongol Empire ultimately proved unable to maintain its grip on such a distant region. The tide of Mongol conquest had reached its limit. The Visigoths at the gates. The sack of Rome. The year is 410 AD. For centuries, Rome had stood as a beacon of civilization. Its legions had carved out an empire that stretched from North Africa to Britannia. Yet, on this day, Rome lay at the mercy of barbarians. The Visigoths, led by Alaric, had besieged Rome twice before. On this third occasion, fate and Roman treachery turned the tide. A gate, betrayed from within, swung open, granting Alaric and his warriors entry. What followed was 3 days of chaos and destruction. The sack of Rome sent shockwaves throughout the Roman world. It was a visceral symbol of the empire's decline. The event was seized upon by chroniclers who debated its significance. The sack of Rome illustrated the fragility of power. The year is 1521. In the heart of Mexico, Tenochtitlan stands defiant but weary. For months, it has endured a relentless siege. Hernán Cortés has woven a web of alliances with indigenous tribes. The canals now run red with blood. Disease has ravaged the city, weakening its defenders. Cortés has exploited Aztec vulnerabilities. He has taken Moctezuma II hostage. When Moctezuma is killed, the fragile peace unravels. On the night of August 13, 1521, Cuauhtémoc surrenders. Tenochtitlan lies in ruins, its temples desecrated, its palaces looted. The fall of Tenochtitlan marks the end of an empire and the beginning of a new era. The year is 1260. The Mongol Empire, under Hulagu Khan, has conquered Persia and toppled Baghdad. Rulers from Cairo to Constantinople tremble. Near Ain Jalut, the tide will turn. Hulagu withdraws, leaving Kitbuka with 10,000 troops. The Mamluks of Egypt, led by Sultan Qutuz and Baibars, march to meet them. On September 3, 1260, the Battle of Ain Jalut ensues. The Mamluks outmaneuver the Mongols, feigning retreat. Their victory halts the Mongol expansion westward. Egypt is saved, and the Mongol aura of invincibility is shattered. The Roman Forum, once a bustling hub, now stands silent, its marble columns crumbling. The Great Wall of China snakes across the landscape, a reminder of an empire. In Mexico, overgrown pyramids whisper tales of the Aztecs. These empires share a common fate: rise, dominance, and decline. Their stories captivate our imagination and offer lessons about power. The stories of Rome, the Aztecs, and the Mongols remind us that power is ultimately transient. Empires are subject to fate, unintended consequences, and human nature. Adaptability is crucial. Rome struggled to adapt to changing dynamics. The Aztecs couldn't adapt to the Spanish threat. The Mongols faced challenges in maintaining unity. Unity is essential for empires. The study of history is a journey of discovery, understanding the forces that have shaped our world. The Roman Empire's legacy is evident in our laws, languages, architecture, and literature. The Aztec Empire offers a glimpse into a rich and complex civilization. The Mongol Empire facilitated trade and cultural exchange across Eurasia. As we face modern challenges, we should heed the lessons of history. If you enjoyed this journey through history, please subscribe and like the video. Your support helps us bring more content to you.